Hi, everybody. My name is Mr. Dupa. That right there is Drunk Dave Romero.
Yeah.
And the other guy is Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Tonight's brew is the Tampa Bay Brew Bus Rolling Dirty Red Ale. I saw it at the liquor store. We grabbed it. We're going to drink it. This is the One Beer In podcast. That was really good.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place where I fit in.
I'm digging it.
I like these.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I like it.
This, I like. You, not so much. These wrote this.
This beer better than Marco.
That's fine.
What is that? That was a really half-ass European.
I know. I didn't commit to it. No.
You're like, this beer
Hey,
better than
Better than
You're
Marco.
under commit, and that's what happened.
That's all right.
Yeah, we all heard that intro.
Goddamn right.
It has like a really, I know this is going to sound stupid, but a very ale taste, like a traditional ale
You're so stupid.
taste.
Cannot believe you said that.
I know.
That's stupid.
No, but it has a very traditional ale taste to me.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It's clean. It's a clean taste.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was, I mean, for being 5% and for being, not really outside the box, it was $10.99.
Mhm.
A little expensive for being, what is
It's not knocking my socks off,
right.
you know?
So it's pretty good, but more around the $8.99 range.
Yeah.
I would have been more comfortable with it. $10.99. I feel like they're just kind of jumping on the, because
It's like this label really costs a lot.
Right. No, listen, because on the label it says hop on for the ultimate craft beer experience. So they're jumping on the craft beer thing, which is fine, but I just feel like I'm over. I pay a little much
Right,
for
Yeah, this kind of
what we're
tastes like
drinking.
a at-home brew kit beer. Yeah.
I think you're kind of paying for them being a smaller brewery, basically.
Right. I think that's
So.
exactly what I just paid for.
That's all right.
So yeah, it's good. A little overpriced.
Yeah.
Is my assessment of this beer.
Pretty that. I give it 3 bottle caps out of 5.
Mm.
Oh, I got a better rating system. Out of 6.
Ah,
Six
yeah,
pack.
yeah.
There it is.
Right.
Okay,
I
right.
like that. 6 bottle caps.
That makes it kind of hard to quantify, though.
No, I still think 3 still makes it average because then it's an even number.
Yeah,
now.
if you can't do math, like what 3 out of 6 is, I don't want you watching this or listening to this.
I guess.
If you're an idiot, you're gone.
Yeah.
There goes our child demographic.
Fuck them, little
Drink
bastards.
beer, kids.
Also, can I just note that their logo is a truck that's a keg?
It looks like a jet engine.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
just-
think that's irresponsible. Personally.
Tampa Bay Brew Bus.
There's nowhere to sit though.
There's nowhere.
Yeah.
There's
I
no
don't-
windows.
I don't see any seatbelts. I don't know windshields.
Very unsafe. I don't like that message.
Why are there fenders on it?
Because they need to show that it's a bus.
This is straight up. This is really local, man. I mean, other than the fact that it's Tampa Bay and it's brewed in Tampa. I mean, the Facebook URL is down on the label.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's really expensive for craft breweries to bottle their beer, though. So I think that's why you have to pay the premium to get craft beer, regardless of,
Yeah,
if it's worth it, kind of.
still feel overcharged.
No, this is brewed and bottled by Cigar City.
Yeah, in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
So this
what the
isn't-
fuck am I paying for?
Yeah.
Cigar City can handle that back end. Okay, so rating.
reevaluating.
Reevaluated. Adjust for
I'm
inflation.
gonna give this. I'm gonna stick to the 3, but out of 6, this gets a 50 if you
Mhm.
can't do math at home.
Yeah,
Okay, 3 out of 6.
I'm going straight 3.
Yeah.
Maybe even 2. Nah, 2.5's too low. I'll go straight 3.
2.5 is justifiable.
You think?
Yeah, I give it a 2.5, but I gave it a 3.
I was going to say, do you just change it right now?
All right. Well, then I'm gonna stick to my guns then. 2.5.
2.5 bottles out of 6 bottle caps.
I'm going 3. Because I like, it has a good, strong ale taste to it.
I think maybe I'm a little. I'm ignoring the taste too much for the value of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a factor because you paid for this one yourself, so you're a bit more biased as far as.
I don't want to act like this is an abnormal thing. Everyone pays for beers. I'm talking about it so much, like this is the first time I've paid for it.
I'm never buying beer
Right,
again.
right. Drunk Dave's bought them. Obesius has bought them. So it's not like.
Fooled me once, never again.
I'm never buying a beer ever again. I don't want it to sound like that. So 3, 2.5.
Yeah.
There you go, Rolling Dirty. Lower your price a little bit.
Yes, this is not. It's not worth $10.
No. It would probably get one more bottle cap from me if it was maybe $2 less for that pack.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Tonight's episode is episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight's episode is episode 5. Adam, you wanted to say something?
No. No. Cutting room floor.
No, it's so good. You got to keep that one.
Maybe.
We practiced that.
Right.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, so I saw this topic, sparked my interest. You guys are all familiar, obviously, with the Wu-Tang Clan. We're all big fans of them from way back in the day. Most of their recent projects, I think we can all agree, have been a little lackluster, but they've been getting press recently because they're actually coming out with 2 albums this year, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of their releases, called A Better Tomorrow, is coming sometime later this year, but it's going to be the other release that they're coming out with that is really more interesting than anything else because they're only making 1 copy of it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You heard about
that? Yeah.
I guess you guys have heard a little bit about it, but apparently it's going to be basically a showpiece that's in this engraved like silver box, and there's going to be a key to it. They're going to be touring it around for listenings of that album in apparently like art museums and things like that. And
have you seen the box?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Did you see it?
Intricately carved.
It's a beautiful.
Yeah, it's
display.
very, very pretty.
It is. I mean, it really is.
That makes you want to pull a heist.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's been going around as news, but apparently there's been reports that they're going to be charging about $30 a pop to listen to it. So it's basically going to be a bit of a show in order for you to experience that album, because only one person will be able to buy it.
That's very smart and ballsy, and I think the only people that could pull that off in hip hop are the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yep.
Okay.
I from what I read, the album itself was recorded from 1997 to present. So if it's Wu-Tang Clan circa 97, I'll pay $30 to listen to it.
Right.
Hands down, just immediately.
The album we're referencing right now is The Wu Once Upon a Time in Shaolin.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, if it's 97, because that's Wu-Tang Forever Wu-Tang,
Mhm.
yeah, I would pay $30 to, because I was reading that what they're going to have is people go into a museum or wherever it's being displayed, everybody gets headphones because, and I mean, they have to take all of the necessary precautions because if it leaks, the entire experiment falls apart.
Right.
Because what's the point at that?
Right. Why go out to listen to it when you can hear it at home?
Right. So they were saying, once it's made its rounds through all the museums and displays and stuff like that, they're going to put it up for sale, and a private person could buy it, just a regular citizen, or a museum could buy it so that they can lend it out and stuff like that. So they were saying if like a private citizen buys it, I mean, they could do whatever they want. I mean, they could leak it. They could make copies of it. Once they bought it, I mean, it's theirs.
It's going out for auction. So it's going to the highest bidder. There's only one copy, obviously, so you'd assume the price is going to be huge for something like that.
It's a very audacious plan.
Yeah.
I think like you said, I mean, if there was ever a rap group or person in music culture to do something like that as far as hip hop is concerned, then yeah, Wu-Tang Clan would be it.
Right.
And
it really puts like a strong value on the music too.
That's exactly what they're trying to do.
It's like, all right, well, we're gonna put this out for everybody to listen, but if any of you assholes leaks it, then you've ruined this for everybody. You've defaced the value of this music by doing that.
Right.
So it's not just them that suffer, this because it's one piece. indefinitely increases its value.
Right.
Mhm.
Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to say that music, and not just music, but rap music, is art.
Mhm.
And that's what the whole thing is like you need to appreciate what this is as an art form and not just, guys in the studio. Because like that fucking Gene Simmons, I don't know if you saw what he said.
He's
about
always talking some garbage.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Gene Simmons, guitarist from Kiss. Oh, you kind of look a little spaced out.
Gene's a
I was
bass.
waiting for you to finish.
Okay, so basically they were asking him about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he was upset that they're putting more and more rappers in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's like, they don't belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. All they do is talk over music. It's just like, I mean, it was just completely disrespectful of like the entire genre of hip hop.
Well, let's put this in perspective too, because he also said that he didn't think that Nirvana belonged to be in there either. That they were just a fad. And
I mean,
if Gene Simmons is completely wrong about all these things, why do they keep asking him?
because he brings up these great
Right,
articles
he
that
says
they can
these
write
things,
these headlines
right.
about that people are going to click on. That's basically it.
sensationalism. They can just that's
Yep.
how they get traffic to their websites.
Yep.
They know he's gonna say. That's the same thing. That's like saying, why do they keep asking Ted Nugent what he thinks?
Yeah, exactly.
He's an ignorant asshole, but his sound bites are incredible.
They're perfect. Yeah, that's
So-
all they look for. That's exactly what they're looking for.
Of course, they're gonna
so.
keep asking him.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. It's elevating the art of hip hop into, the echelon that actual art that as we know it is in,
Right.
which has been a movement in hip hop recently. Even with Magna Carta, Holy Grail,
Yeah.
with Jay-Z's thing.
Well, it
doing
was his attempt at it.
right. I'm not
It's just the
saying-
fact that like the presentation and the video that he had where he
Mhm.
was at the Museum of Modern Art and he had the Picasso baby video and all that blah blah blah. That was his attempt. The only problem was the music itself wasn't very good.
No, I think it was Picasso Baby the name of the song.
Yeah.
That's the same.
It's just a blatant in your face. Hey, here's a song referencing all these great things
Yeah.
in museums.
Exactly.
Which recently he came under fire from Drake with.
Yeah.
Which I don't think anybody's worried about.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, he responded too in that Jay Electronica song.
hmm
So yeah, I mean, Drake brings up a good point, sort of.
It's
Not
just
really.
trying too hard.
Well, who, Jay or Drake? Well, I mean,
Naming your album Magna Carta, Holy Grail, and then you have songs in there called Picasso Baby.
I don't think he was trying too hard if the songs matched the weight of the album title. If the songs were as good as that title implied.
You know they're not. And by referencing common art, you're not appealing to anybody who actually knows art. You're still appealing to a mainstream that only knows art by its popularity.
Well, we know you're appealing to a population of people who know art from people like Jay-Z who talk about art. That's the only like Basquiat, for instance. Nobody knew who Basquiat was, man.
Right. Look at me referencing all this art. You know this art, right? Because it's popular.
It's name dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what it is.
I mean, it's just like naming your album Yeezus.
Yeah.
The expectation that you put on yourself by doing stuff like that, is almost impossible to reach.
Right.
Yeah. Although I was saying, we were talking about this earlier. I think Yeezus is the most polarizing album of all time. That's my
Of all
opinion.
time?
Of all time, literally
Really?
of all time. I think it
Okay.
either there's two opinions on the album. Either you hate it or you love it. That's it. I've never heard anyone say, it was alright. I haven't heard that. Either people think it's a masterpiece, his best album, or people hate it. I've seen people, believe me, there's been 10 out of 10 reviews.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
look at Rolling Stone. They salivated over
They get
it.
paid to
Yeah,
give
all
that
of them
rating.
do. But that's the point, though. When you have these institutions like Rolling Stone, it's an institution as far as rock music is concerned.
Yeah.
And when they give it a perfect or near perfect review, people take that as gospel.
Mhm. They
Same
have-
thing with Pitchfork.
Right. They have weight to their reviews.
Yeah.
Unlike any Joe Schmo with a blog that says
Right.
this is the best thing ever. It's like, no, that was in Rolling Stone.
Right. So you see something like that, and it gets because I'm pretty sure it got a 5 out of 5 or 4.5
Something
out of 5.
close.
They
yeah.
got something.
It was on
yeah.
the top of their lists
Yeah,
for
they
the year.
they loved it, and that means something still. I think reviews and the weight of reviews, as far as music is concerned, is dying out
Oh, yeah.
because of just how we consume music now.
Mhm.
It doesn't, which I mean that's kind of what I want to do, so it's unfortunate,
Yeah.
but it really is reviews are really dying out.
Yeah, it's meaning less and less.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody has an opinion. Everybody can share that opinion now.
So with that,
People's opinions can be swayed with the dollar.
right. With that being said, the reviews that still matter even more now, in my opinion, because they still matter. In an age where we don't really give a shit about reviews, the ones that people still read mean more than they used to, because there's like 5 of them left. And when you have, all 5 of them say this is a great album, and then like the people who actually consumed it, who aren't getting paid to listen to it, say that it's trash, that makes it a very polarizing album. I can't like Kid A maybe. I can't think of another album that is as polarizing as just straight down the line, love it or hate it, as Yeezus was.
It's definitely the most prominent in our memory right now. It was just last year. But I see what you're saying about the reviews, but the thing is, as somebody that follows Pitchfork, their opinion means a lot less to me now after I've seen how many good albums I've seen them give like 2 stars to or whatever.
They trash stuff like nobody's business. So. I can't fucking stand. Well, we talked about it. I can't fucking stand Pitchfork.
Yeah, I know.
Now, my problem is not with what Drake said. My problem is with the aftermath of the interview. He does the interview, and then after all this stuff comes out, Drake's like, I didn't say that. They misquoted me. I'm never doing interviews ever again.
He's still butthurt about not getting the cover.
That's what I don't like about Drake, is the lack of backbone, man. I respect when artists say something in an interview or any media.
George Bush hates black people.
Hey, he said that and he backed it up. He didn't shy away from it. Right. That became part of who he was.
I don't think there's anything Kanye said that he's like
denied later. Yeah.
I mean, but can you not respect that?
No, I can't respect that because he's just an arrogant asshole who runs his mouth.
I don't think so. I think he's become that now. But when he said that, it was volatile and it created a conversation. And I don't think it was wholly unjustified to say something like that.
Completely alienated Mike Myers.
Yeah. It fucked Mike Myers, definitely.
He goes, shit, I can't act anymore.
Man,
I'm not going to make anything.
Yeah, he ruined his and Chris Tucker's career.
Yep.
Everyone who was in that blast radius. They all got caught in that.
Kanye's ground zero.
He fucked them. But, I mean, I respect that.
Just imagine that. Like, you're on national TV, and you think you're just giving a regular PSA, and then this asshole just calls the president racist on national TV, and what do you don't.
What do you do? You don't do. What can you do?
You don't just recover from that.
Right.
You don't.
I wonder what he said when the camera cut to Chris Tucker. I wonder what Mike Myers said to. What was he just like? Good job, man. And it just like walked away, or was it just everyone just didn't know what to say to him?
Silent.
Was that entire studio just like?
I don't know what I would have said. I probably would have been like, "Fuck," and just walked away.
I probably would have been like, "What the fuck?" At least warn me.
You couldn't tell me you were gonna do that.
What the fuck?
Come on.
But I mean, you can tell he wanted to do it, but like. He didn't know if he was going to. Yeah. If you watch it, he's like, he starts to talk about it.
He looks a little scared.
He starts sweating and he's shaking a little bit. And he's like, they call it black people looters, but when white people taking stuff, they're saying they're refugees and survivors. And you see Mike Myers look at him like he's really going off script right now. What's happening? And then he drops the bomb. Anyway, going off a little bit, but it kind of brings us back. I respect, even if you don't agree with what he says, I still respect people who, because nowadays people can say things and then apologize an hour later. They say things on social media sites. Right. They'll post a tweet and that's how they feel because they said it. And then they post it, and then people go, "Why would you say that?" And then they go, "My bad, didn't mean it." You know,
there's an
every time
that's the problem, that someone like Kanye West doesn't know the difference between Twitter and national TV.
I don't, but that's not the point. I think it just, if you say something, and that's what you mean, stand behind it.
No, okay, and then there's like, okay, there's saying something and then, speaking your mind. Right. And then there's what he did to Taylor Swift, if we want to go there and use that as an example. He actively went out of his way to ruin that for her.
if you want to go there, I kind of thought it was hilarious.
And that's the problem.
I thought it was funny.
People don't see that as like a problem. Like,
no.
can't just-
People saw it as a problem.
you can't just say what you want. That's part of society and being a civilization.
No, well,
Civil civilization,
you can-
yes.
Society,
you can-
whatever. I don't want to use the same word again.
you can say what you want. You just have to be ready for the consequences.
Mhm.
People
Right.
can say whatever they want. They just have. People need to stop being surprised by backlash. That's
Right.
what I mean when people go on Twitter and they say something, and then an hour later they apologize, like what they said before wasn't volatile or racist or inflammatory.
Well, you know what happens, right? Their PR person
Yeah,
calls them
well,
and
of
goes,
course.
what
yeah.
the hell are
They're
you
like,
doing?
Why would you say that? Oh, should I apologize?
Yeah,
Yes,
do that.
apologize. Like, and it helps.
Right.
You know,
They probably have their account on their phone. Like, oh, jeez, I'm so sorry.
Yep.
It's frustrating because it's just so easy to backtrack.
And then the thing is, Kanye's not like, he's not a nobody.
Right.
People look up to him.
Yeah.
Clearly, if they're using like his slang and dressing like him,
Mhm.
want to rap like him,
Yeah, he's an idol.
He's influencing people,
Yeah.
children who will grow up to be just like him.
Yeah. That's
That's where the problem comes in.
Mhm.
And I know I sound old as hell right now, but that's the problem.
Think about the babies.
we're gonna be old, and some young punk is gonna come up to us and be like, and just say some wild shit to us, and we're gonna be like, why are you like that? And it's not gonna be okay.
Damn
Right.
you, Kanye.
I mean, I don't want to be wholly ignorant of what he's trying to accomplish. It's just he as a person is an ignorant person nowadays. I feel like a lot of the stuff that he said before had meaning to it and he was going somewhere with it. Now I just kind of feel like he's just saying things just to generate media
the sake of
attention
doing
and
that,
yeah,
yeah.
just to get his name, just to keep his name in the media and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So that's what gets me, and that's what I don't like about, you know, just going back to like with what Drake said. He said all this stuff like he wasn't just talking about Jay-Z. He said stuff about Kanye West. He was brutally honest in
Right.
the interview. He said how he felt,
And then he apologized.
And then he
after?
and
took it
then
all back.
he didn't apologize. He said that that's not what he said. They misquoted
Who's
me. And
surprised
that's not
about
what,
that?
I'm not
surprised?
surprised.
Who's
I'm
surprised that
disappointed.
Audrey?
Audrey,
denying it.
Audrey would backtrack.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed. I want more guys to just fucking just be like, look,
Say what
this
they
is how I
mean.
feel. Like the way that Kobe Bryant is now. It's kind of a change in direction, but Kobe
That is a
Bryant.
change in direction.
But it's not though, because Kobe Bryant, when they ask his opinion, like back in the day, if you asked a basketball player, any prominent celebrity, how they feel about something, they have to be PR about it. They have to say things safely, and you know it can't be
Right.
controversial. But Kobe Bryant now,
As professionals.
yeah, as
Exactly.
professionals, right?
It's
He's a
called being a
professional.
professional.
But there's also a level to his honesty that these guys don't have. None of them have that. Kobe Bryant, for instance, is 2 years away from retirement, probably, most likely. So now he's gotten to a point where if they ask him something, he just fucking says it. Like if you ask a professional athlete how their team is doing, and you know that they haven't won a game in like 3 weeks, they're a terrible team, and you want that star player to say that. You want them to own up to how bad their team is. But they don't. They say, we're trying to get it together. Coach is working on some stuff. You know, it's just kind of frustrating, blah, blah, blah.
Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, exactly. That's frustrating.
Yeah.
As a Knicks fan, that frustrates you.
You have no idea.
Exactly. So when you get a guy like Kobe Bryant who like they ask him, how's your team going? How's your team doing? And he says, we're playing like shit. Everyone's playing like shit, and it's frustrating because I'm frustrated.
I'm
I'm
not
sitting
playing
on the
like shit.
right. Exactly.
Everybody else
They're
is
all playing like shit.
shit.
I'm putting up 40 points. Well, I mean, he's on the bench. He's
This guy
injured right
here?
now.
They're in the locker room. This guy here? He's playing like shit.
That motherfucker, bring
That guy over there?
him over here. He's playing like shit.
Hey. Derek.
Hey,
You
come here.
suck.
Hey,
Play
Derek,
like
you
shit.
playing like shit? Damn right, playing like shit.
Yeah, you playing like shit. He knows he's playing like shit. Like
He
that.
starts crying.
That's refreshing. It's refreshing to see a guy with that kind of honesty, and that's what I wish more people had. Was just a little bit more honesty. There can be honesty and
Thank
professionalism.
you. I was about to say that.
There-
And
there's a
Kanye
level.
is none of them.
And you're right about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's just brutally honest.
Right.
And that's the problem.
There's no
with that.
professionalism.
Right.
Yeah.
And people
Mhm.
will go into a workplace and be like, yo, boss, you racist.
Right.
to his boss, to
Right.
their
Right.
bosses, and,
Right.
and that's
Without
all
going
it
through
is.
the proper channels and
Mhm.
saying it in the right way. Yeah, I get that.
Well,
I see that shit all the time. We got young punks at work who don't know how to handle themselves, and I was probably one of those young punks that used to run my mouth, but I learned. And now I play the system. I get up on the ranks now,
Right.
and I'm where I'm at now because I learned how to play the game.
Yeah.
You got to play politics if you want to go somewhere.
Right.
If you want to be someone who's respected, you can't go shooting your mouth off
Mhm.
at every chance you get.
Right. It's all part of professional assimilation, really. You learn how to become part of that system or you get kicked out of it.
Well, there's
Exactly.
also there's the argument that like it's frustrating to have to play politics and have to play
It
the
is,
game and
yeah.
have to be that person. Somebody like Kanye West doesn't have to be that person. He just fucking kicks the door down.
That's because
And-
people think it's cool and funny to be Kanye West.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. On the one hand, it is frustrating to see a guy like that, somebody that I did used to look up to,
Right.
act like that. But on the other hand, it's still a little refreshing to see a guy just say how he feels.
I get that, but you could do all that and still be respectful.
Yeah.
You know?
It's indulgent. It's like seeing a professional wrestler but in real life, like
Right.
act that character of having this
Explains a lot.
Yeah.
Explains a lot. Like why you like
What?
him
Why?
so much.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But no, like he has an obviously inflated sense of self that he doesn't respect
That's
anybody
a
else.
good
He
way to
puts
put it.
himself over anybody else's feelings. If he's going to offend anybody, it doesn't matter because that's how he feels at the moment.
Just
Yeah.
picture Kanye jumping off the ropes.
Slightly doughy body.
That's pretty good. Okay. Yeah. All right. I see that. I think we got a little bit off course.
Well, yeah. So
Back to the Wu-Tang Clan.
Wu-Tang.
I respect it as an art piece.
Right.
I hope that it goes well. I hope that no one is a dickhead
Mhm.
and tries to pirate it or leak it or anything. I hope that everyone is respectful of it and let it run its
I hope
course.
Kanye West leaks it.
I mean, that's just
And he reproduces the
He
entire
just
album.
doesn't understand. He's like, what? I just want everybody to listen to it.
I want the people to hear it. That's the point, Kanye.
But buy my album.
Wu-Tang's racist.
Him and RZA are cool. They wouldn't do that
Yeah.
because it's
They collaborated before.
it's really RZA's baby project,
Yeah.
Because the rest
the
of
rest
them,
of them don't really care about it that much.
they don't give a shit about Wu-Tang,
Right.
Most of them.
Well, I mean, think about it though. They've all had much better successes solo. Each and every single one of them.
Yeah. And then in the Wu-Tang Clan, they're not in control. The Wu-Tang Clan is RZA. He
Yeah.
says, look, these are the beats you're going to rap to. This is what you're going to rap about. It's all RZA, and they just kind of show up. So I can
Yeah.
understand why somebody like Raekwon, for instance,
Mhm.
who I've read is notoriously the fucking just the guy who's just against everything.
Yeah.
He's the thorn in the side
Mhm.
of the project getting off the ground. The not the art one, but the actual album,
Right.
Better Tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's the thorn that's like preventing it from getting off the ground.
Mhm.
Someone in his shoes who has dropped, multiple projects that people consider classics, at
Classics,
least only built for Cuban Links 1
Yeah.
and 2,
Oh, yeah.
are just certified. So someone in his shoes who's like, I don't fucking need this.
Mhm.
I travel around the world, I tour, people love me
He's fine without it.
right. So I get that on the one hand, but on the other hand, it's like you wouldn't be here without Wu-Tang
Mhm.
Clan, and don't try to act like you would have been as successful as Raekwon. Just
Solo from the
Right.
get-go.
The
Right.
rapper.
right, it wouldn't have worked.
Right.
You needed that launching pad, so it should be humbling for all of them to come together
Mhm.
and make the best album as possible.
They at this point though, most of them, especially the most successful ones like Raekwon and Ghostface in particular, and Method Man too.
Yeah.
I feel like have sort of an inflated ego.
But what's funny is I read that Method Man has been there every day.
Yeah,
RZA
well-
calls him and he shows up. He's like, "Fuck, let's do it."
It's been obvious though because if you hear any of the last like 2 albums they dropped, Method Man's in there more often than
Yeah,
not.
he's all over him.
And then Raekwon maybe has 1 track or 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, the troubles are obvious within that group. So
I mean, if there's like casual rap fans, let's be honest, they listen to a Wu-Tang Clan album for Method Man, Raekwon, and Ghostface Killer. That's it. So if those guys don't show up, and do what they're supposed to do on the album,
Right.
it's gonna fail because they're the most popular guys in the group. As far as like a casual, somebody who's like, oh, I'm a 90s baby, I listen to Wu-Tang. Those are the people that they're listening for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as like an actual Wu-Tang Clan fan, I mean, that doesn't really matter. They could, obviously you want them there. They're a
Right.
huge part of the group.
Legend of the
But
Liquid Sword. What?
what's that?
What is that? Why is the sword liquid? Is it like
So,
ice?
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm really excited about it.
Right.
The art project. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. I would
Yeah.
love to listen to it.
Wu-Tang album gets 6 out of 6 bottle
Yeah.
caps.
hmm Yes.
Hopefully.
I think, like I said, anything Wu-Tang circa late '90s, early '90s, mid '90s, fucking '90s, just
The 90s. Most
Yeah.
of the 90s.
Yeah, anything in that
Solid.
time period, I would be really excited to listen to. So if it comes here, I would be really excited about it. We're probably gonna have to wait a couple years from when it gets bidded on, and then somebody finally leaks it, and then we can download it. But yeah,
I mean, that adds to the mystique, though. I'd be more excited to actually hear it 2 years from now when it's finally leaked or something.
How far are you guys willing to go to hear this?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. It depends on where they put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Museum of Modern Art, New
so
York.
In case someone who doesn't know us is listening to this,
Yeah.
we're in Orlando,
Right.
now. Orlando, Florida.
Okay. Yep.
Closest major cities: Tampa,
Miami.
Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Miami.
But I don't think they would. I don't think it would make its way down here unless
You think it's like going to be in New York, LA,
right. The major
maybe
cities.
Miami? Maybe Miami.
I could see
Maybe Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta is a mecca for stuff like that, just for
I was gonna
culture.
say Atlanta.
So, I would say this: if it made its way to Atlanta or Miami,
And
I would
Dallas.
make the drive. I would. I'd like to. I would do that.
It'd be a cool road trip.
It would.
Neat, yeah.
Atlanta or Miami, I would. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
and
do
I
it.
mean, there's speculation that it's not just going to be like a listening thing. Like they'll have pieces of art and like other things to add to the experience of
Yeah,
the
I
Wu-Tang.
mean, like I wasn't imagining like a group of like a room full of benches.
we all just
Wireless
sit down and.
headphones on, yeah.
Silent.
This is really good. Shut up. Yeah, that would. Yeah, and circa '97, Wu-Tang Clan, ODB's gonna be part of it. I mean,
He's dad.
you can't beat that, man. You can't beat it. It has to be great.
the team's back together, man.
It has to be great.
Yeah.
It has to be. So, I'm excited about that. I think everyone here is excited about that. It'd be really awesome to go see that.
Switching gears.
Total change in topic, but this has been kind of brewing for a couple years now. Yeah, you like that?
Nice.
Couple years now. This is a Sports with Dave extended version.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, there's a team in the NFL. You're probably familiar with it. The Washington Redskins.
This is a hand egg.
This is hand egg. You're
Correct.
familiar with it. The Washington Redskins, they're a team that have been in existence for 77 years. Recently, a lot of Native American groups have started to call for a name change. And it's this huge thing now that's been happening in the NFL where, it's gotten so big now that a lot of news outlets they're on the side of Native Americans, they're not even saying Redskin anymore whenever they report on the team.
That is really, it's racist.
Yeah.
It is okay.
Yeah.
It is a racist name. The owner of the team, his name's Dan Snyder. He is vehement that he is not going to change the name.
Right.
He feels like there's legacy to the name.
He's very proud of it.
He's very, very proud of the name. He's not going to let it go. He's come under fire from numerous groups, not just Native Americans, but people of all race. They're all asking him, like, you need to change the name. I know Matthew Berry. He's a guy. He's supposed to be the quote unquote fantasy football guru. He's a huge Redskins fan, and he doesn't even say the name anymore. He calls them the Washington football team, basically. So whenever you read an article that Matthew Berry writes, he never says Redskin anymore. And he's a lifelong Redskins fan, and he's even on board with changing the name. So,
I mean, how ignorant do you have to be to say like, I'm not going to change it.
Well, I guess
Does he
that
know
is
it's racist? Is he?
I mean, he
is
definitely
he saying that
knows.
it's racist, but he's not going to change it. To deal with it.
He's never admitted that.
He's not saying that it's racist. He's saying a lot of his arguments are the origins of the name, how old the name is, if it even actually is like a racist name, or if it's like, you know, descriptive of the people.
It's racist.
It's
I mean, if the mascot was an Asian guy and the team was yellow skins,
Right.
that's
that
racist.
name would have been. But you got to think about
If
it
the
like
mascot
this.
was a black guy and they called him the darky slaves,
The-
that'd be racist.
Yes, that would be racist.
If it was
Yes,
a
it would.
Spanish guy and they called him the wetbacks, that'd be racist.
Yeah.
Oh, Beaner.
But what they're saying, one of his arguments is the name Redskin was coined by a Native American. So that's like saying, well, black people use the N-word, so why can't I name my team the Washington N-words? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that's what it's saying. Just because a Native American coined the term, that means that
I mean, is Krakow okay?
right.
I mean, nobody really cares about Krakow because white people are like, whatever, man, we invented racism.
So, of course.
Direct quote.
From all white people.
Yes.
Whatever, man. We invented it, so we
By
good.
white people.
White bro, sure, whatever, man.
So he's like I said, he's not changing the name no matter how many people come after him.
Right. I mean,
That-
it's obvious that he's fighting the losing battle in that, and
Yeah.
he's being like a child and saying,
Yeah.
nope, it's not,
Yeah.
because I think so.
The reason
You
I
are.
the reason I bring it up
You're
now,
racist.
because it's been going on for a little while. The reason I bring it up now is because he just started this nonprofit organization that is supposed to be helping Native Americans. Like he spent like $100,000.
Oh, that's not admitting anything.
Well, I mean, that's exactly my point. Is he does this, and
it's not racist. By the way, I have a charity I just started
Here's some
such a
money
cop
for
out.
the Redskins, not the football team. Actual Native Americans.
Exactly.
Wait, that's
Exactly.
inappropriate? Oops.
And a lot of people were saying like, okay, they're saying like he's telling Native Americans like, okay, if you want my money and if you want this charity, you're gonna have to say the name that you don't want to say. You're gonna have to fucking deal with it. Because I'm not changing the name. I'll give you a little bit of money. I'm not changing the name, so you have to deal with it. I mean, it's a pretty sorry state of affairs when you have an owner of a team who could just so easily. I mean, I can't think of a human being on this planet. I can maybe. I take that back. But there are a lot of people who would applaud him if one day he woke up and was like, let's change it, because it's just a name. You know, they could still keep the insignia and just be like the Washington Warriors,
Right.
and it wouldn't be racist anymore.
It's a
And
very
no one would
simple-
care.
Very simple change.
I mean, there was a couple of people who would care because they're racist too.
Mhm.
Only racists care about that.
I think that's a valid point.
Yeah, I mean, name a sensible person who would be like, you can't do that. The Redskins is 77 years old. You can't do that.
I mean, like, given the point that you made of the dude that's apparently really good at the fantasy football.
Oh, Matthew Berry.
Yes, Matthew Berry. The fact that he's been, a fan forever, right? Like
Right,
for a very
yeah.
long time.
Lifelong fan.
This guy
And
looks like a dick.
he's
Who,
willing.
Dan Snyder?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
The fact that he's willing to change
Right.
as a fan,
Just
as a
money.
fan,
This is his first time.
Right, exactly.
Says a
If
lot,
You
you know?
you talk to a lifelong fan of the Redskins who was saying it's not only racist, but I am wholly on board
Right.
with changing it.
there's no more you can do as a person that's not in charge of that team than what he's doing.
Right.
Do you know what's bad? Because when I googled Dan Snyder, the second and third results were Dan Snyder wife and Dan Snyder house.
Okay.
It's like, what are people Googling? Like,
They want to see what his wife looks like, so they can
Yes.
assassinate her. And they want to know
Yep.
what his house looks like,
so they know where
blow it
he's
up.
at.
This got dark.
Yeah, that's messed up. I mean, I feel like, I don't know. It's that kind of thinking has to go away.
Question. Is he the original owner?
No.
No.
Okay, then what the...
Team's too old for it.
Why is
Well-
he... I mean, yeah, I was saying he looks pretty young. There's no way he
he's
could be
young
the
enough
original
guy.
owner.
Yeah.
But the reasoning behind my question was, then why is it such a big deal to him?
Oh, because it's not really a big deal to him. More so that the controversy has in recent years kind of caught fire now. There's a lot more groups now than there ever were who are asking for him to change the name. So he's the guy who is most responsible for the team now because, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, people were probably saying you should change the name, but yeah, I mean, it was, it was the 80s, it was the 70s. They were like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
They were still fresh in their minds that they stole their land and everything.
Get out my way, boy.
Right.
Yeah.
But now it's become this fresh thing with social media and Twitter, and you can hashtag change the name and hashtag no more Redskins and blah blah
it's
blah.
Much
so
easier to be an activist.
Right, exactly. So. It's much more easier for people to get behind a cause. Somebody says something, and then you can get 100,000, likes or 100,000 retweets,
which is 100,000 eyes on this topic.
Right,
so,
exactly.
I mean, whether they do anything about it or not is, to be seen.
It's not just 100,000; it's 100,000 plus whoever.
Everybody,
sees it.
yeah, everybody that
exactly.
sees
people,
it.
the people who don't retweet it, and all the timelines that's 100,000 timelines that it's shown up on.
Right.
So that's an that's a huge number of people that it can. So it's easier to be an activist, like Adam said. So it's that's why it's become a bigger thing now. And he's, I don't want to say unfortunately, because it would be easy for him to just change the name, but he is the guy who has come under fire for it because he is so much against it.
He deserves it.
Right. Well, yeah, definitely.
I mean, if he's too ignorant to understand, like, all right, you're insulting an entire group of people with your name that. All right, it was cool in the days where, politically correct wasn't really a term, but now it's not, it's not the 80s, it's not the 90s, it's not even the first decade of the millennium. It's, we're in the second decade. We're all, aware of everybody else's feelings and everything, and that's where we should be right now. You shouldn't be like an asshole about it. Like, okay, I get that there's a legacy behind it. And the name means something to you, but it also means something else to a lot of other people.
Right.
And that should outweigh your name. And if he's so concerned with the legacy, then why wouldn't he want to be the guy that goes, okay, you're right. This is very insensitive. I want to be the guy that changes this direction of the team. I want to be known as the guy who changed this team for the better.
Right.
It's not just the sentimental value, and this is obvious, but it's also the financial aspect of it. I mean, the amount of money that he feels like they would lose changing the name, everything, literally everything. The entire arena has to change, but they're not thinking about it like that. They're thinking about it like, no, we have established roots here. This is an established legacy.
Right.
It's going to be hard for people to recognize us as anything but the Washington Redskins. They have songs and jerseys. I mean, think about what they have to do with the jerseys. They have to change everything.
Rebranding is. I know.
Well, I mean, that's the bottom line. It is incredibly petty, but that's the bottom line.
Do they really have to rebrand everything?
They do.
Does everything actually say Washington Redskin on it?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because as like an advertising guy, anytime that you change one aspect of a campaign or of a brand, you need to rebrand it. Otherwise, there's lingering, feelings of the past brand. You need to get that out of their heads by making a new image completely.
And it's a 77-year-old team, and then in 2014 they're just going to change it to something else. It would be incredibly difficult, but that is, as corny as this sounds, that's the first step to change, man. That's how you do it. That's the way. It's good. Of course, it's going to be difficult. But that's how you do it. That's how you change things.
But it's the NFL. Are you really ever going to run out of money?
Oh, all they care about is money.
Are you really ever going to run out of money?
That doesn't matter. It's a bottomless pit, man. That all they want is money in the NFL.
Yeah, but football is a staple of America. We're the only country who calls football American football.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, football is soccer to us.
Doesn't matter. It's all okay. All right. How about this? Okay, this just happened. Now, when guys score touchdowns, what a lot of them like to do is dunk the. That's good. They like to dunk the football on the goalpost. Mm-hmm. That's become a penalty now. So they get charged. I think it was $10,000 to dunk the football on the goalpost. If that isn't the most arbitrary penalty I've ever heard in my life, I don't know what is.
Who cares?
That's what I'm saying. It's stupid. But what I'm saying is,
like, for everybody, who cares? Like, if you're a football player, you're making easily $500,000 a year at least. If you're a nobody, if you're the kicker, who nobody knows your name, you're making at least $500,000 a year. Right. What's $10,000?
But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the league will implement these things just to make money. And
Mhm.
that's all it's about, is making money. People get dropped. They get everything about it is just the bottom line.
It's a business.
So that's why that's basically the main reason. He can talk about legacy and all this, but the reason Dan Snyder doesn't want to change the name is he's probably an incredibly stubborn person, and the bottom line, the financial end. He doesn't want to do it. It's going to take too much money.
See, but the thing is, I don't think that he is like ignorant. I don't think he's ignorant. I think that he knows that this is obviously an issue, and it obviously something that needs to change. But I feel like he has this pressure from financial backers or some things. There's some kind of outside force that is making this decision not as easy as we see it.
Yeah,
Called stockholders.
Stuff like that. That it's the obvious business things that are keeping him from being able to go, you know what? You're right. This is stupid. Why am I fighting this when it's obviously something that should be changed?
Right.
And probably will be within the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, that's I think that's the bottom line. I think it will be changed at some point.
Right.
I mean,
it has to. I guarantee it. Whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now.
The thing about it is, it's upsetting because it is so easy to do. Like in basketball. Now, obviously, basketball hasn't been around as long as American football, but they change names in basketball all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You got the Bobcats, the Hornets, the
New
Thunder.
Orleans,
I mean, they do it all the time.
Right.
And it seems like a very easy fix, and yet it has gone on for so long.
It's just one guy being stubborn.
Really, it really is.
It's not. I don't think it is, though. I think it's one company as a whole.
Well, I mean, like we said, it's a lot of shareholders, a lot of hands in the pot that are stirring this thing in the wrong direction.
Right.
Public opinion will take over eventually. It's gonna happen. It always does.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you make this topic big enough and get enough people behind it, that stadium's going to be empty.
Yep. At some point, people are going to. I mean, there's the people who are fans who are just they're gonna blindly follow, but there's most of the smart people are gonna say, we can't do this anymore. There has to be change, and that's how it starts.
Thanks, Obama.
There has to be change. David, you can go ahead with the next topic.
In case you don't know, once upon a time, a man named Robert Kane created a superhero by the name of Batman. That day is today. And that hero is 75 years old. So to commemorate that, we're going to talk about our favorite Batmans, whether it be Batmen.
Favorite Batman.
Our favorite Batman, whether it be actors who portrayed Batman, certain comic book series of Batman, animated series of Batman, etc., etc.,
etc.
So, Marco, you may begin.
My favorite Batman is the animated series Batman.
90s?
Yes, the mid to late 90s animated series. Kevin Conroy. That was my favorite Batman of all time.
Grew up on.
Yeah, I love it.
That series, in retrospect, was incredibly violent.
Yes, yes, it was. Yes,
there was an episode where the Falcone family completely assassinated an entire restaurant of mobsters by hiding a bomb underneath the table.
I remember that one.
Yeah, and they just it goes off. They cut to the outside of the building. Nobody survives.
Yep,
that's incredible. I mean, the opening sequence is a building exploding.
That's what they took it from. That was the scene from that show. Okay. That was the scene from that episode. Okay. Yeah, they took it from that.
That's awesome. I mean, but that's what's so great about that show. I mean, that's what's so great about TV shows from back, or cartoons from back then, is like the adult humor and the adult themes that they touched on. I mean, we grew up on it, but I started to read some of the comics. I've read some of the graphic novels, and none of it really. I mean, obviously they're all great. Some of them are perfect. Some of them are classic. But Kevin Conroy Batman just captures Batman for me. The image that I have of Batman, he just captures it so well. I can't think of anything else. Obviously, people want to point to like Christian Bale and more violent, more dark, cynical Batmans, but that animated series had it all for me. You know, like you said, it was mega violent for being a kids TV show, but at the same time there was humor to it, and his voice is just Kevin Conroy's voice is just it's perfect. It's flawless.
There's no way. There's nobody that could be Bruce Wayne and Batman,
Right.
and just nail it, staple that
Right.
so perfectly.
He has probably the manliest voice.
It's
Which
incredible.
is weird because he doesn't look manly at all.
He looks like a normal dude.
He's just an old guy.
He's kind of scrawny.
Yeah, he's just a little old dude, which is, I mean, that's
But he's got that
makes it even better.
I don't know how you pull that
Nailed
off. Thank you. That's right.
Yeah, so that, I mean, hands down.
You know what would be neato?
Hmm.
If Kevin Conroy dubbed all of Christian Bale's lines.
Oh my god, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
We're gonna start a
That
Kickstarter.
would, oh my god, you're just blowing my fucking mind. Oh, that would be so awesome. I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that.
That'd be real neato.
That would be so good.
Oh,
Fuck.
man.
All right, that's mine.
Now,
So
can I ask you? I don't know. I'm gonna put you on the spot here, but what's your favorite live-action Batman?
it's between Michael Keaton and Christian Bale, but I
course.
gotta go. Chris. I don't know. Val Kilmer's Batman was pretty good.
No,
It's
it
just
wasn't.
his Batman movie was bad. Val Kilmer is a great actor, and his Batman was pretty good. He was kind of boring, but I don't know. I felt like, he kind of. I think Val Kilmer is a talented guy.
Mhm.
I feel like the material that was given to him by Joel Schumacher didn't live up to.
I gotta disagree with you because I don't remember a single scene from Val Kilmer as Batman.
Well, I mean, I
But
do.
I remember more George Clooney as Batman. That movie was horrible.
Yeah,
That
that movie
was
was
probably
even
the worst.
worse.
That
Yeah,
was
that
probably
was.
the
I
worst.
think that's hands down the worst Batman thing ever made.
The thing.
Just
at all.
any Batman media period.
That's
It was-
75
it
years
was-
of work,
Yeah,
and that is the
and
worst.
that was it. That was the worst. It has to be. I mean, it has
I think
to
so.
be.
I think it's pretty unanimous.
Batman and Robin, right? Yeah, Batman. And
Personally,
Robin. Batman
and
Forever is the Val
I
Kilmer.
may be stealing this from you. I'm sorry, but Frank Miller's interpretation of Batman was my favorite in the graphic novels.
Yeah.
Which one out of the two graphic novels in particular? Because there was Dark Knight Returns and Year One.
Okay.
He also did the cameo spot on the rehash of the animated series on the WB, where his Robin is a little girl and imagining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they had the three kids.
Telling
imagined-
stories of Batman.
Right. One
Right.
of them was the Frank Miller Batman.
Yep,
Mm.
and that was awesome.
Mhm.
That's where I originally
That's
saw
a pretty.
it.
That's a really
And
cool.
then- You showed me the graphic novel, and I read that, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
which one? The Dark Knight Returns,
Yeah,
or
is that the one he kicks Superman's ass?
Yes.
Yep.
Dark Knight Returns. Spoiler alert.
If you haven't read it, read it.
Yeah, please do.
That's my favorite.
It's great.
So-
I read them both. So
Right.
It's pretty.
So that's my favorite graphic novel, Batman.
Mhm.
Of course, there are other dimensions of Batman that look kick-ass. The new Arkham Knight game coming out that has the Arkham Knight as a character. He looks badass, which also looks like an interpretation of a Batman.
Yeah.
But my favorite live action, obviously, it's gonna be Christian Bale because every other interpretation is very cartoony.
Yeah. Okay.
I hear you.
Adam?
Live action for me, I'm going to go with Michael Keaton. But it was very close between him and Christian Bale.
Mm.
Came up to the wire. It may be a little bit nostalgia swaying me with that because I grew up with him as being kind of my Batman. It's up there with my 007 as far as
Pierce.
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan.
That is as far as I'm concerned, that's the only 007 that exists.
And that's what I'm saying.
What?
No.
The rest of them obviously made great movies, Sean Connery in particular, but Pierce Brosnan's the
You
only
don't
one
think
that
Daniel
matters.
Craig?
Well, of course, those movies are awesome, but
Right.
when somebody says 007, immediately I see Pierce Brosnan. That's the only thing I see.
Have you seen the N64 cover where his mouth comes out to here?
No.
That's gonna ruin it for you.
Anyway.
Continue.
It's that same effect for me as far as Batman goes, where I grew up with him being Batman, So I would have to say that is my favorite Batman, but it was kind of a toss-up, being honest.
Yeah.
Other media than that, obviously the animated series is top dog. So it really doesn't get much better as far as storytelling for Batman. And in my opinion, it's probably the best medium of Batman is the animated series, honestly. Even though it was like a kid's cartoon, like I know you said it was, both of you guys said it was violent, but it's more than that. It was mature in ways.
Right. The storytelling was not half-assed.
Yeah.
They really took care to tell a great story. The voice acting was obviously incredible, Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill.
Right.
but the stories that were told, like from what I can remember and from what I've watched on the internet
One
now.
of my favorite episodes was the Riddler episode when he has him going through the maze. He has to fight a Minotaur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I remember they preface the whole like episode, the concept of it, with Robin at the Bat computer, and he has to answer like a trivia question. What's the shortest way around the world? And he picks a straight line, and it's wrong. And the actual answer was a curved line because the Earth is curved.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I remember that, and Alfred correcting him. It just shows how much of an idiot Robin was.
Have you guys seen The Mask of Phantasm?
Yeah.
I mean that it was like an hour and a half, but it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
It's great.
I love it.
But let's not forget Batman Beyond too.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Mark
You're
Hamill came back for that too.
Yeah.
They all did. Kevin Conroy came back for it. Yeah.
So that was a really nice like update because it wasn't like it was a few years from when the animated series had to end, and then there was the Batman Superman WB series,
the Justice League
Justice
one.
League.
Justice League is so good. Their Justice League interpretation is so good. It's just so good. But yeah, the Batman Beyond. It was faithful, like you said. It had all the voice actors,
and it was fresh and renewing with new villains. They even brought some back. Like Mr. Freeze came back in that series as the same one that original Batman fought, which was awesome.
Yeah,
Joker's in that, and it was a great reboot and a reimagining that still kept the lore faithful.
It's really a testament to how good it was. The fact that we don't hate it for being different. You know, like think about it. Think about if they were to
Terry McGinnis, that's my boy.
That's what I'm talking about. Like they made a good character that you weren't mad at replacing Bruce Wayne.
Right. That's a huge testament to how good that show was.
Huge.
Yeah.
Incredible. So,
definitely.
I mean, that's definitely up there for me. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's definitely like probably right behind the animated series.
Right.
Pretty sure that's on Netflix.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I remember it being on Netflix.
I don't know why the animated series isn't on there. But
that's been the worst thing for me is that I haven't been able to go back and rewatch those episodes.
Well, you can look them up on YouTube. I mean, not on YouTube, but just they have websites dedicated to every season.
You can download the entire. It's like a few gigs.
Yeah.
Of like really low quality SD, which just tells you how many episodes there were.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content.
I would download that. Probably will when I get home.
Me too.
Now that I think about it.
So, and the problem.
I remember that torrent has all the movies too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Not that you do anything illegal or anything, right?
No, we would never do that.
Anyway, but the problem is like downloading is so easy, but I'd be willing to pay money to get those on Blu-ray or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a good enough show that I would pay money for it.
Yep.
So as soon as WB is ready, we're ready with the money to buy it. But whatever,
remaster that,
please.
Yes.
Yeah, HD. Come on.
And then I think that's about it. So for everybody here, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez and Drunk Dave Romero,
not drunk yet,
but you will be.
Let's do it.
My name is Mr. Dupa. This was the One Beer In Podcast. Thank you guys for listening, and
see you later.